So much happening, talking about securing the nation, especially with the capacity of the army. Let's talk about the new strategy now. We have joining us at this time security consultant all the way from the UK, Temitope Olodo. We appreciate your time here with us.
But thank you for having me.
What would be your initial remarks now to all the efforts now to intensify the war on terror? Of course, there's an ongoing army conference. Now the army says it will take the fight. Now, talk about like an attack position rather than defensive. What do you think of that?
I think I must applaud the Chief of Army Staff for coming out to announce a change of policy, a policy change in terms of what they will not be doing. But it doesn't stop at that, because I think I'm one of the few that have been calling on him to change his approach. And I think the message is getting through now that they cannot continue to do things the way they've been doing them. But when you benchmark what Nigeria is saying across the world and look at other countries that have gone through similar, insurgency challenges like the UK, Colombia, America, you don't come out on at a conference and say, this is what we're going to be doing, because word is cheap. What I would have expected the Chief of Army Staff to have done is that as he's giving out his speech, he's distributing the strategy. Of course, not the operational methodology. We don't need that. But distributing the strategy out there to the public for public consumption, so that people like myself and like people like yourself, we have something to discuss. Because all we're saying is that I'm moving to the offensive. What does the offensive mean? I'll give you a classic example. If I was advising the Chief of Army Staff, part of his offensive is the containment strategy. So you don't just go after the terrorists, but you hold the ground. So you need people to hold the ground. How do you intend to recruit enough people to hold the ground? You've been fighting this war since 2009. And all your recruitment strategy does not reflect an approach to hold the ground. You are not recruiting for people that are linguistic. You are not recruiting for people that are drone experts. You are not recruiting for people that are IDP expert or ID expert. You're not doing that. Your recruitment is for cooks and typewriters, typists. So that is the problem we have.
All right. Let me also get your views now. Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, speaking for the Chief of Army Staff, released a press statement yesterday acknowledging the deaths now in all the areas. At least 39 soldiers now have fallen at the hands of Boko Haram terrorists. In his words, he's saying the terrorists have become more daring, are using drones, and are also using foreign members now, or foreign mercenaries, so to speak now, to aid their war. What would it be? Could it be a failure of the army now in holding the ground, in your own words?
I think it's a failure of strategy. They don't have a strategy. They don't have an implementation plan. If you are working in that field, just like you're working in your TV studio, you have a 5-year, a 10-year plan, and you work by that script, and you modify that script. Few months ago or few weeks ago, the US actually came out to say Boko Haram is modifying and using drones. You could get a drone in the marketplace for less than £200. Now, for a group that could buy a AK-47, to assume that they will not have a drone is laughable. So what Nigerian military should be doing is recruit people in the public space that know how to bring down those drones. So you need an expert in anti-drone. As I speak, there are different conferences around the world that talk about technology that could bring down those drones. Does Nigeria have those technology? Those are the kind of questions that we are asking. So when you come out with a strategy, you need to embed all those things, and you need to bring in the public that have expertise in those fields to be able to advise you. But if you are doing your in-house approach and crying among yourself that, oh yes, we want to deal with this, you will never deal with it. But that said, we must applaud them that at least they are taking that step to change things for the better.
let's also, talk about the meeting President Muhammadu Buhari is having with the members or heads of state from the Lake Chad Basin, as Nigeria isn't the only one, having to tackle this menace now, talking about the Boko Haram insurgency. Other countries are aiding this fight. Other countries are also suffering losses. So what do this group of Lake Chad Basin countries need to do now?
I think there are two things that the president needs to take to that meeting. First thing, I've been calling for the past few months that the president needs to be actively involved in the issue of Mali and Libya. It's not about sending representatives to sit at the desk and talking. You need to engage with those people because that is where the weapons are flowing in from. So the president taking this move is quite good because the president is quite weak in this area. But of course, when he initially started, one of the things the president did was to say, to extend a hand of friendship to those Sahel countries and those areas, which was very good, and a lot of us applaud him for that. He needs to go more than that because we need to understand the geopolitics that is happening here. Now you might talk about the Chad Basin conference and meeting, but there's also a J5 which is created and led by the French, and that is actually having an adverse impact on the multinational task force and also this Lake Basin discussion. So it needs to get those leaders to have a concrete idea, and it's not just talking, but have a plan. What do we want to do in the next 3 months? What do we want to do in the next 6 months? What do we want to do in the next 1 year? And then you review those plans. That's the only way. You can't achieve everything you want to achieve. And Nigerians know that this job is not an easy job. So we're not saying, Mr. President, produce magic or do a miracle overnight. But what we want to see is concrete initiative on ground that you are putting in place, and you are checkmating and checking to ensure that you are revising your strategy as you go along. That is our progressive government. That is how they work. And if you don't have those kind of strategy, then you are not moving anywhere or going anywhere.
Temitope Olodo, we appreciate your analysis of this ongoing war on terror. Thank you very much. In the same vein, we also commiserate with families of our brave soldiers who paid the supreme price in defending our fatherland.